He was the cool spy who changed the way people thought about James Bond for a whole generation. Elegant, stable, and undeniably charming. But outside of movies, Sir Roger Moore had a life that was much more complicated than the parts he played. Moore's real life was full of warmth, strength, and an unspoken sadness that marked his last years. He raised a close-knit family and lived in beautiful homes all over Europe. At the time of his death in 2017, he left behind more than just movies. It was very close to home. This video tells the story of Roger Moore's children, which isn't often told. Look around the fancy homes he used to live in. Find out the sad facts of his death and the shocking amount of money he left behind. Roger Moore used to be a young boy from Stockwell, London, with big goals ahead of him before he became the most charming spy in the world. Roger George Moore was born on October 14, 1927. He was the only child of George Alfred Moore, a committed London police officer, and Lillian Lily Pope, who was from an English family with roots in Kolkata, India. The times shaped his youth. Roger was moved from London for safety during the chaos of World War II, along with many other British children. He went to school in Halsworthy, Devon, and then at Launceston College in Cornwall. In the end, he finished his schooling at Dr. Challoner's Grammar School in the county of Buckinghamshire. Roger's early goals weren't always to become an actor. His first job was as an apprentice at an animation company, but that didn't last long because he was fired for messing up some animation cells. But fate had other ideas. Roger's father met film director Brian Desmond Hurst while looking into a theft. This was a turning point. Moore's life would change quietly after that meeting. Hurst gave Roger, who was young at the time, a small part as an extra in the 1945 movie Caesar and Isis. But it wasn't just his act that got people's attention. Roger made everyone on set feel good, especially the women. Hurst thought Moore was so good that he paid for her to go to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RA, which is one of the best performing schools in the UK. Moore learned at RADA with some of Britain's best artists, such as Lois Maxwell, who later became famous as Miss Moneypenny in the James Bond movies. Roger learned to be calm and relaxed on TV during these early acting lessons, which would become his trademark. Moore's life took another important turn after he graduated from RA in 1945. He was forced to serve his country when he was 18 years old, right after World War II. He was made a second lieutenant in the Royal Army Service Corps on September 21, 1946 of that year. Moore worked as an entertainment coordinator in the combined forces while he was in the military. He helped plan shows for British troops. He finally rose to the rank of captain and was put in charge of a small depot in West Germany. There, he was in charge of entertainers who were passing through Hamburg. Before Sir Roger Moore became a movie star, he worked hard but didn't get much attention. He started out as an actor by making small, unnamed roles in British movies like Perfect Strangers, Caesar and Cleopatra, Piccadilly Incident, Gaiety George, Trotty True, and Paper Orchid. People may not have paid much attention to these short parts, but they set the stage for a career that would last for decades and cross continents. In the early 1950s, Moore worked as a model in addition to being an actor. He was the cool face of lifestyle goods in British print ads. Because of his sharp features and smooth charm, he was a great fit for the growing consumer culture after World War II, which wanted to connect glamour with everyday things. This helped him get started in the entertainment business, which led him to cross the Atlantic to the US, where he started working in early TV. There, he was in American versions of Julius Caesar and Black Chiffon, as well as 2 episodes of the popular showcase show Robert Montgomery Presents. Moore's first big break came in 1954, when he got a 7-year deal with MGM, the famous Hollywood studio. His first movie with the company was The Last Time I Saw Paris, which starred Elizabeth Taylor. A small but important role that showed he was now in Hollywood. After that, he had parts in the highly acclaimed musical biopic Interrupted Melody, the exciting adventure The King's Thief, and the drama Diane, where he played Prince Henry of France. Diane didn't do well in the business world, though, so MGM let him out of his deal. Still, the experience made him more well-known in the movie business and helped him get better at what he did. Following his failure in Hollywood, Moore returned to TV, which would eventually make him a star. At the time, he was on a number of famous anthology shows, such as Ford Star Jubilee, Lux Video Theatre, and Matinea Theatre. In 1958, the British show Ivanhoe gave him his big break. He played the noble knight Sir Wilfrid of Ivanhoe. Moore became known to more people in the UK through the show, which was a big hit. After that, he went back to the US to work on the Western show The Alaskans, which ran for 37 episodes from 1959 to 1960. His next TV role was as the hero in Maverick, which he took over from James Garner in the 4th season. But Moore quit after only 14 shows because he didn't like the writing. In 1962, Moore was chosen as Simon Templar in The Saint, a British mystery thriller based on the best-selling books by Leslie Charteris. This changed everything. The show ran until 1969 and made Moore a famous TV star all over the world. Moore made the part his own by playing a sly, smart, and roguishly charming hero with a strong sense of right and wrong. Fans on both sides of the Atlantic loved him in the role. The show's popularity around the world set the stage for the next and most famous part of his work. Moore took over for Sean Connery as James Bond in Live and Let Die in 1973. Fans at first didn't like the choice, but the movie's huge success at the box office put critics to rest. Moore's version of Bond was different from Ian Fleming's rough-and-tumble spy. Instead, he played the part with a lighter, more fun air. He played a cultured gentleman named James Bond who was known for both his spy skills and his quick wit and confidence. Moore played James Bond in 6 more movies. The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977, and The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. Moonraker from 1979. Octopussy, 1983, For Your Eyes Only, 1981, and A View to a Kill, 1985. When he quit as James Bond at age 58, Moore had become the actor who had played the part the most times. People loved how he played the secret agent, even though critics weren't sure what they thought. In the 1970s and early 1980s, he was a big hit at the box office thanks to his mix of action, fun, and charm. Moore was always on TV and in movies, both before and after his time as James Bond. Before he became famous as a spy, he was in movies like The Miracle, The Sins of Rachel Cade, Gold of the Seven Saints, Crossplot, and The Man Who Haunted Himself. Moore later said that this movie was one of his favorites because it required him to play 2 roles at once. In the 1970s, he was in a lot of action movies, such as Gold, Shout at the Devil, The Wild Geese, That Lucky Touch, Escape to Athena, and North Sea Hijack. He was a big star in movies in the 1980s, with roles in The Sea Wolves, Sunday Lovers, The Cannonball Run, Curse of the Pink Panther, and The Naked Face. After A View to a Kill, Moore took a 5-year break from movies. Fire, Ice, and Dynamite and Bullseye, which starred him with fellow British movie star Michael Caine, were his first movies back in the early 1990s. Moore then had smaller parts in a variety of movies, such as The Quest, 1996, Spice World, 1997, and Boat Trip, 2002. What came next? He always adds a touch of style and self-aware humor to his shows. During his lifetime, Sir Roger Moore not only built a famous acting career, but also a huge fortune. His net worth is thought to be around $110 million. He lived a lavish life thanks to his success on both the big and small screens. He owned a number of beautiful homes in some of the world's most desirable places. Moore lived in beautiful and comfortable homes all over the world, from stylish homes in Switzerland and Monaco to a large farm in the south of France. A man who played James Bond with effortless ease has since died, but the charm and sophistication of the places he used to live still show his high standards. The places he used to live are now quiet reminders of a great life well lived. Let's look more closely at the fancy houses that Roger Moore used to own. Large house in Denham, Buckinghamshire. In the charming town of Denham in Buckinghamshire, just 20 miles west of central London, there is a huge 11-acre estate that used to belong to Sir Roger Moore, one of the most famous actors in movie history. This amazing home, which is now for sale for $7 million, is more than just a house. It's an important part of movie history. Moore lived here while shooting 3 of his famous James Bond movies, which was one of the most famous times in his career. Built in the 1920s, the house has a classic English elegance and charm that will never go out of style. Real estate agents have called the main house a delightful country house. It has 5 large bedrooms and a lot of different living areas. The house has a snug living room, a study with wood panels, a library with lots of books, and a bright veranda. It's both fancy and comfortable. The inside has a boot room, a hall, a games room, a fully equipped gym, and a cozy wine cellar. Together, they make the right mix of rustic charm and high-class living. One of the best things about the property is the guest room, which can be used for visiting family, friends, or even live-in staff. This annex makes the estate more flexible because it can be used as a private retreat or as part of a bigger home. The gardens around the house are just as beautiful as the house itself. The gardens, tennis court, and heated pool on the estate are all perfectly kept up. A cute summer house, a garden room, and a cute shop on the property all look out over all of these. If you have a green thumb, a beautiful greenhouse row is the perfect place to grow plants or veggies. A former ballroom has been cleverly turned into a flower shop, housed in a rustic wooden building that brings back memories of the property's long history. This house is more than just a fancy place to relax, it truly shows Moore's high-class way of life. It's easy to picture the actor taking it easy here between movies, sipping wine by the pool, or having guests over in the beautiful grounds. The house is a true reflection of life in the English countryside, with its elegant furnishings and large outdoor spaces. Elegant, private, and always in style. House in Northridge. Long admired for how smooth he is on TV and in real life. Sir Roger Moore also liked houses that were beautiful and expensive. A Mediterranean-style house in Northridge, California, is one of those beautiful homes that is now for sale for just over $3 million. This huge house is a beautiful example of Moore's classic style, and it has both grandeur and comfort in equal measures. The house is on a large 17,500 square foot lot and has over 6,700 square feet of well-thought-out living space. The current owner says that it's clear that this isn't a normal house as soon as you walk into the grand hall. There is a lot of natural light on the travertine floors, which lead to a formal sitting room with custom built-ins. The layout smoothly blends luxury and functionality, making it perfect for both everyday elegance and large-scale entertaining. The chef's kitchen is the heart of the house and is state-of-the-art in every way. Beautiful custom cabinets, one-of-a-kind granite countertops, and intricate mosaic backsplashes make the kitchen look great, and top-of-the-line tools like a Viking 6-burner range and a Sub-Zero refrigerator make sure the food is delicious. There is a formal dining room next to the kitchen for fancy meals and a large family room with a cozy fireplace next to it, perfect for getting together with friends and family or just relaxing at home on a Saturday night. The top level has beautiful hardwood flooring that runs the length of an ornate custom iron staircase. The main room is a private sanctuary with stately doors made of leaded glass. This retreat has a bathroom that looks like a spa, a private porch that looks out over the peaceful backyard, and a double shower with multiple jets. There is also an extra bedroom on the second floor. There are 3 more large bedrooms, a full bathroom, and a loft-style area that can be used in many ways. One of the rooms has even been turned into a fancy home theater, which is a great place for the former James Bond star to relax with a movie. Hi-hat lighting and built-in surround sound add to the modern grandeur of the whole house. The garden is a real haven outside. A 20 by 12 guesthouse can also be used as a pool cabana. The large swimming pool, built-in barbecue area, pergola, and spa make the property feel like a resort, great for hosting parties. The outdoor area is just as luxurious as the inside, whether you're having friends over or just taking it easy with a coffee by the water in the morning. Every part of this estate is high-end, and it has 7 beds and 7 bathrooms. Moore's house in Northridge is more than just a house. It's a statement of classic style and high-class living, and any serious buyer or fan of the movie legend's elegant memory has to see it. Ever think about what kind of cars Roger Moore, who played James Bond with such style and charm, likes to drive? Moore loved luxury and high-performance cars just as much as he loved building beautiful houses. From sleek British. From oldies to sleek sports cars, his collection was as classy as he was. Let's look more closely at some of the cars he was famous for. Cars. These brand new powerhouses were some of the last cars Moore's name was on. When you first see the 2009 Aston Martin DBS, it stands out. With its aggressive stance, sleek body, and strong V12 engine, the DBS is the right mix of speed and luxury. It's easy to see why Aston Martins are so closely linked to James Bond. The car is a true symbol of style and speed, with high-end leather interiors, precise engineering, and cutting-edge technology. Going back in time a few decades, Roger Moore also really liked the Aston Martin V8. This grand touring car, which was famous in the 1970s and 1980s, is a mix of raw power and sleek British design. It looks just like James Bond, with its bold appearance and loud engine. Even though it wasn't as flashy as some current supercars, the V8 stood out because of how well it looked, how powerful it was, and how smoothly and controllably it could go down the road. The Lotus Esprit, especially the one seen in The Spy Who Loved Me, is one of the most well-known cars linked to Moore's Bond look. This sleek wedge-shaped sports car got a lot of attention for looking futuristic and, most importantly, for being able to change into a submarine in the movie. Although the real Lotus Esprit doesn't go under the water, it is still an amazing piece of engineering. Many people love it because of its speed, handling, and aerodynamic design. It's also a fan choice among people who like design that stands out. Moore was in The Saint as Simon Templar before he became James Bond. In that role, he famously drove a Volvo P180. Moore, who is smooth and stylish, looked great in this classic car with its curved lines and sporty vibe. The car wasn't the fastest on the list, but it was a big hit right away because it looked great and worked well. Even now, the P1800 is still one of Volvo's most famous styles and a collector's favorite all over the world. Every car has a story that it shows and tells. Which of these old rides do you like best? Write your answer in the box below. Life in general. Before he became famous around the world as James Bond, Sir Roger Moore's personal life was full of ups and downs, failed relationships, and complicated relationships that were in the news just as much as his work. His first marriages, especially to Dorn Van Styne and Dorothy Squires, were very emotional, had big age gaps, and were in the public eye. There are details that give a clear picture of the problems Moore faced off-screen. Roger Moore got married for the first time very young. He married actor and ice skater Dorn Van Styne, born Lucy Woodard, in 1946, when he was only 18 years old. They met at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in RADA. He was 6 years younger than her, and they moved in with her family in Streatham, South London. But what started out as young love quickly turned into a rough marriage. Money problems and Van Styne's obvious doubts about Moore's ability to make it as an actor caused things to get worse. It was said that the relationship became violent behind closed doors. Moore later said that he was hurt physically while they were together. Divorce happened because of the stress of getting married too young, not having enough money, and personalities that didn't get along. Moore married his second wife, Welsh singer Dorothy Squires, in 1952. Squires was a larger-than-life character who was known for her strong voice and even stronger anger. Moore was 12 years Moore's junior, so Squires was already a big star when the two of them met. They had a strong and quick bond. After getting a divorce from Van Styne and getting married to Squires in New York, Moore. The couple lived in Beeksley, Kent, for a while before moving to the U.S. in 1954 to try to find work in Hollywood. While they were together, things were far from easy. The marriage was strained by Moore's growing interest in other women, especially American actress Dorothy Provini, as well as their different ages and the demands of his work. They moved back to the UK in 1961 and lived in Sutton Coldfield. Squires had several miscarriages during this time, which was very hard for the pair. Moore later said that this event might have changed the course of their marriage if they had children. Squire's unstable nature often led to fights and angry outbursts in public. She is said to have hit Moore over the head with a guitar in a famous incident. Later, when she found out he was seeing Italian actress Luisa Mattioli, she threw a brick through a window to face him, but it cut her. She allegedly cried out, "It's my heart that's bleeding," as police tried to help her. Later, Squires tried to include private letters from Mattioli to Moore in her book, but the couple was able to stop her with a court order. In the court case that followed, Squires tried to sue for lost wages but failed. Over the years, she was sued a lot, which got her the rare legal label of vexatious litigant in 1987. This meant she couldn't start any more cases. Moore was kind to Squires in her later years, even though she had a lot of problems. In the 1990s, when she was sick with cancer, he paid her hospital bills without her knowing. In 1998, she died. Moore made a choice that would change his life in 1961, while shooting the rape of the Sabine women in Italy. He left his troubled marriage to Dorothy Squires, a singer, for Luisa Mattioli, an actor from Italy. The Squires were angry about this move and wouldn't accept the split quietly. She sued Moore for loss of conjugal rights and told him he had to get back together with her within 28 days. A court order Moore went against. Another dramatic way Squires showed his anger was by breaking windows at the French home where Moore and Mattioli were living. She also tried to sue actor Kenneth Moore for lying when he said that Moore and Mattioli were married at a charity event, but she lost. Moore and Mattioli stayed together through the 1960s, even after the storm. In 1969, after 7 years of being apart, Squires finally recognized their connection in the eyes of the law by divorcing Moore. Moore and Mattioli got married that same year at Caxton Hall in Westminster, London. Before the ceremony, 600 women screamed Moore's name, showing how popular and liked he was becoming. Roger Moore and Louisa Mattioli built a family together and had 3 kids. Their daughter Deborah Moore, who was born in 1963, became an actress like her dad. Born in 1966, Jeffrey Moore also became an actor. He shared the screen with his father in the movies Sherlock Holmes in New York, 1976, and Fire, Ice, and Dynamite, 1990. Jeffrey was good at more than just playing. He helped open the high-end restaurant Hush in London's Mayfair neighborhood. In 2023, he put out a single called You and I that had vocals by the late Nia Rivera. Jeffrey is married to Lulu, and they have 2 children. Christian Moore, the youngest boy, became a film producer and is married twice and has 4 children. Moore and Mattioli broke up in 1993, after being together for more than 20 years. Moore was interested in Christina Kiki Tolstrup, a Danish lady who was born in Sweden. Moore had to deal with a health problem that same year when he was told he had prostate cancer. He said that this news changed his life and made him rethink his relationships and life in general. Mattioli and Tholstrup had been friends for a long time, but the change hurt them deeply. In her book Nothing Lasts Forever, Mattioli later wrote about how she felt betrayed and heartbroken after being passed over for Tholstrup. She painted a clear picture of how she felt. Moore didn't say anything about the split because he didn't want his kids to be affected by the public fight. Still, after the divorce, his kids grew apart from him for a while, but they finally got back together. A £10 million settlement wasn't reached until 2000, which was then the end of the split. In 2002, 2 years after that, Moore married Christina Pstrip. He often said nice things about her calm demeanor and ability to keep things organized. He said their marriage was peaceful and didn't have any fights. Moore liked how Tolstrup took care of many parts of their life, like planning their travels, which made his busy job easier. Tolstrup brought the 2 kids he had with his first wife, Hans Christian Jr. and Christina Knudsen. Christina said that Moore was a good impact because her mother's relationship with him changed her own hard life events. Christina died of cancer in 2016, she was 47 years old. Moore shared his sadness with the public by saying, "We are heartbroken," and talking about how they loved her until the end. Roger Moore had a lot of fame and success in his life, but he also had a lot of health problems from a very young age. His youth wasn't easy, he got sick a lot, which put his strength to the test early on. Moore had chickenpox, measles, and mumps as a child. These are normal childhood illnesses, but they were especially bad for him. He also had jaundice, which means his liver was having problems, and double pneumonia, which is a serious lung infection that can be life-threatening. In order to take care of his health, he had his stomach, tonsils, and adenoids taken out before he turned 18. Moore had painful kidney stones all his life, which sent him to the hospital more than once. Notably, he had to go to the hospital while making two of his most famous James Bond movies, Live and Let Die, 1973, and Moonraker, 1979. He also got hurt while working on these movies. Moore crashed a speedboat while shooting the exciting boat chase scene in Live and Let Die. He got a concussion and a broken tooth, but he kept doing stunts even though they were dangerous. During the shooting of The Spy Who Loved Me, a chair explosion stunt burned his buttocks. Moore had a big health scare in 1993 when he was told he had prostate cancer. He was able to get better after treatment because the disease was caught early. But that wasn't the end of his health problems. Moore passed out on stage in 2003 while singing on Broadway. To control his dangerously slow heartbeat, doctors gave him a pacemaker. This device helped him keep a safer heart rate. After many years, in 2013, he was told he had type 2 diabetes, which was another long-term illness he already had. Recently, Moore had more health problems in the years before he died. He was diagnosed with a growth on his liver a few years before he died. In 2017, while he was getting treatment for cancer, he fell and hurt his shoulder badly, making an already hard time even worse. Roger Moore died in his sleep on May 23, 2017, at his home in Cran, Montana, Switzerland. With his family around him. The cancers in his lungs and liver caused his death. He was buried in the Monaco graveyard. A perfect place for a man to rest his head after a life full of both happiness and sadness. How nice of you to watch our movie. We hope you liked learning more about the life and work of this famous actor. Thank you for watching the movie. If you want to see more in-depth stories and interesting facts about your favorite stars, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for your help. We'll see you next time.